This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English, episode number 342, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode, I speak to Champagne Shah, yes, she is back, about train etiquette, okay? The things that you should and should not do on the train. Well, that's kind of what we were supposed to talk about, but you've listened to an episode of Rock and Roll English before, haven't you? You will know that we probably won't even talk about that. Anyway, just a quick piece of news. Membership to the Rock and Roll English family is currently closed, but will be opening soon, just to let you know. I don't think I've got anything else more to say, so happy listening. Champagne Shah, how are you today?
Hello, I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Always fantastic, Shah. Always fantastic, even if it is way past my bedtime. You told me you go to bed at 9:30, and we're currently recording this at 9:22. How do you feel?
If I fall asleep, I apologise now. I will try not to dribble.
Many people have told me how they have fallen asleep during Rock and Roll English before. So
how rude.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, sometimes I do listen to podcasts, not my own podcast, but I have listened to podcasts to sleep before, but never my own. I just want to underline that. I literally never listen to this podcast. It would be weird if I listened to, except for editing purposes, okay?
I thought it was quite common for people to listen back to their own podcasts. Quite a few comedians say they listen to their own.
Oh, really? Okay, wow. I would never do that. I can do it for editing purposes, but other than the editing purpose, hearing the sound of my own voice is torture. So I definitely don't. But yeah, good luck to the comedians that do. But anyway, how do we usually start the show, Shah? Do you remember?
We see if there are any reviews.
Now, do you think there is a review?
I should hope so.
Well, kind of. Now, let me explain that. Because today, as mentioned to you earlier, sometimes when I find myself going to bed late, I'm just doing completely unnecessary things. So today, when I was supposed to be working, I was just looking at photos on my phone from like 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago, as you do, just flicking through. And I saw like a screenshot I'd taken of a review, and I thought, fuck, that's a brilliant review. And I thought, did I read that out? I think it's from about 2 years ago. But I don't remember reading this out. So I'm going to assume that I haven't, even though I probably have.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of new listeners that haven't heard it.
Exactly. Okay. So here we are. It's a Facebook review from Mehdi Ghazi, and it says, "You made my week, a precious source for listening practice as well as speaking, which I sure recommend it to everyone. I've listened to 80 of your episodes just this week and shared it among 2,000 of my friends, as I know they are looking for something like this. Thank you all so much." How about that, Champagne Shah?
That's a very good review. 2,000 friends.
Yeah, I haven't got that many friends.
No, I don't think I know that many people.
No, listened to 80 podcasts in 1 week. I mean, he must have fallen asleep a few times in those.
How many episodes are you on now?
Good question. 340 something. It should be easy counting, but people often send me a message saying, no, it was like 330 last week and now it's like 320. So I do have difficulty counting, but near the 350 mark, okay, of official episodes.
That's impressive.
There you go. And just a stat for you here. I think it's like 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 6, okay? So
wow.
Just to show you how fucking brilliant I am. There you go. 350 times, something like that. Anyway, so on to today's show, Champagne Shah. I did actually mention to you what we're talking about, so I'm not going to do my usual guess what we're talking about. But for the listeners, we are talking about train etiquette, okay? Because like 3 or 4 times a week, I find myself on a train to London. And some of the things I see on that train drive me fucking crazy. So I thought, where better to talk about it, to moan about it, than on a podcast, okay? So I've got a list of things and we're going to talk about them, okay? So number one, I've got here, I put this into Chat GPT and said, can you give me a list of annoying things that people do on the train? And number one, I like the wording of this, is seat hogger. So a hogger,
Yes.
Lovely word there. Someone sort of like selfish is like taking all the seat, because the amount of times I see this of someone sitting on a seat and just, especially men, have got their legs wide open, and you're like, close your fucking legs.
Yes, that is overcompensation through and through. It drives me insane, especially, so the train I get is often packed. So I come out of London and go west, and it's always a train that's got a good 2-3 hour journey. Absolutely packed, because no doubt the one before is cancelled. And then there's people with their bags on their seats. Or, the man spreader.
You don't see women doing that, funnily enough, do you?
No. Slightly better etiquette. And I just think there's people with children, there's people who have paid for a seat. Just move your bag.
Yeah, bag is another one. But so on the leg one, I think my problem is because I always get on the train with my foldable bike, which I'm sure people don't like. Okay,
I think that's probably going to be up there with the train etiquette.
With the seat hogger. But I make sure my bike is not annoying anyone. Okay, but sometimes I will sit next to someone. I normally stand on the train, or I sit on like the kind of like emergency seat, which is like you can just pull down. But then sometimes if the train's not very busy, like I will actually sit next to someone and put my bike next to me. But because there's that unwritten rule, isn't there, of like, if there's a seat free, like more than one, don't sit next to someone.
Oh, yes.
But the other thing is I like to move the direction the train is going. I don't like going the other way. No. So I sometimes do break that unwritten rule and sit next to someone, and I do see them kind of looking around like, there are lots of seats, why don't you sit somewhere else? And I think, no, but I want to sit here. And so I did this the other day. There was a leg spreader, seat hogger, whatever you want to call him, and I thought, when I sit down, he's going to close his legs.
Oh no.
And he did not close his legs, and I just kept looking down, and I kept trying to sort of indicate with my eyes, as in to say, look, there is a clear line here of where your seat finishes and where mine begins. Your leg is very far over that. I am sitting on the very corner of this chair, just so I can sit here.
But he doesn't want you sat there, so he's got no reason to close those legs at all.
Yeah, my message to him is, fuck you, I'm paying for this train as well, and I've got equal right to sit on this train. And it, like, if someone's there, like, surely, like, you're thinking, I'm gonna get, he deserves a space on this train as well. Why would you not close your legs? I was feeling embarrassed that he wasn't closing his legs. It was.
What you need to do is find out what was number 2, 3, or 4 on that list, and then do that to annoy him, so he has to move.
Well, so we can run through this list. So the next one, okay, I'm debating which one to actually choose here, because this one is just, you know what, I'm going to throw another one in there. Not something which is annoying, just something to discuss. Okay, toilets. Okay, what are your thoughts on train toilets? Have you ever been in a train toilet?
No.
It's got to be a real emergency, hasn't it?
Yes. Unfortunately, the only time in recent memory that I've used a train toilet was coming home from London the day after the night before.
Okay.
And I had to use that toilet. It was not pleasant. for anybody.
The idea of going to the toilet on a train, I mean, I have done it, and generally it's been sort of situations like that, or maybe drinking on trains, which I found myself doing a lot in my younger years. Of like, I was going somewhere, so it's like, well, I'll get drunk on the train first and then needing to go. But they're moving a lot, aren't they? And if you're a man and you're aiming for that toilet seat,
oh, don't.
And especially if you've drinking, I remember actually buying a bottle of lemonade and then putting a bottle of vodka in the bottle of lemonade and then just drinking like that. So if you've drunk like half a bottle of vodka and you're going to the toilet and the train's moving, is carnage.
I mean, that's not going to hit the target without a moving vehicle involved, is it? No, absolutely not. I have actually been on a train toilet in India, and I think they've got the right idea, because it's literally a hole in the ground of the train.
So it just goes right.
And so you just position yourself over and off you go.
What about when the train is stationary? Is that not allowed?
No, that doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter, right? Just go free.
Yeah, just go free.
See, yeah, on the toilets thing, I remember on planes actually being really scared to go to the toilet on a plane because I was sure I was going to get sucked out of the plane.
Yes.
For years, I'm talking to. I was about 30. Like,
okay.
Realised that that's not the case. And then when you're in, I mean, I always go for like Ryanair. You're in this very, very tight toilet, though also not very comfortable, especially when you're in there with kids, which I find myself these days. But at least it's more stable. It's not a moving toilet. Whilst when you're on a train, it's moving, and that is a problem.
That is a problem.
I also remember being on a train with my friend, the Hellraiser, who people know from the podcast, and a girl was getting in there and she didn't realise she didn't understand how to like lock the door, and then she kept sitting on the toilet, and then the Hellraiser kept clicking the button to open the door.
Yep, that explains his name.
And then
was she ready to go?
Oh yeah, she was sitting on the toilet every time. Yeah,
trousers down.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. And then she was going, I don't understand why it keeps opening, and we were, I don't know. And then he must have done that about 5 times until we begged him to stop because the joke had run its course.
Was it not clear to her that with you lot laughing on the outside?
No, she definitely didn't know what was going on. To the point where we actually felt sorry for her, but also was hilarious. But if that girl is listening, please accept my apologies. I was the one actually trying to stop him. Okay. So
you say.
Yeah. It was funny the first time, I must admit, but after that, so I mean, this one I don't even really think this needs talking about because you should be put in prison for this. But it says the loud music DJ, which I mean, so someone was doing that. I mean, so not only the music DJ, like just even someone watching a video. So someone on the train the other day again was watching a video like full whack, like full volume. And just absolutely pissing his pants with laughter, and that it just makes it even more annoying. Of like, what are you doing?
I do enjoy watching people's videos over their shoulders, especially if it's a program I like. I'm a huge Friends fan, and I don't even need the words to know what's being said. So I do like that. But
the idea of someone of like watching a TV program, of having my phone so other people can hear it, is just
that's not acceptable.
It's just not going to happen. But yeah, when people watch videos, and the other thing which I find people doing is now not only talking on the phone, which is annoying, but like doing FaceTime calls, so you can hear, you can also hear the other person as well. And
these are the people whose conversations we really don't want to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes I do admit, like, the odd eavesdrop, like you do kind of get, it is a bit interesting. But it's just like that. I just think, like, how are you not aware of this? So there was a woman the other day, and she was on the phone. She was going like, "Oh, hi, Katie. You will never guess what happened to me yesterday." Like, and I was like, "What the hell happened to you?"
Tell me, I need to know.
Yeah, exactly. But again, the idea, like when people, I sometimes get phone calls on a train, and I'll be like, "Hello, yeah, see you later, bye." That's it.
No, I don't even answer. I message and say, "I'm on a train, I can't talk."
Yeah, exactly. So I just like just complete arrogance in a way, of just like not so arrogant that you haven't got any. They don't even come into your mind. I heard Ricky Gervais say this, which he said, like, when you die, it's not you that suffers, it's just the people around you. And he said it's the same when you're stupid. It's like you don't suffer, it's just the people around you. And that, I think,
I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, because that's what I think about people on the train. Like, they're not suffering because it's not entered their head, but I'm the one suffering, okay, because I'm so intelligent.
Yes. And I don't know whether we're just getting old.
Oh no,
but there seems to be more and more stupid people on public transport.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that's something that would have always drove me crazy. But on the list as well, something which I'm sure you mentioned something about this before. I've got here food crimes. So it says here, ChatGPT, I found this quite funny. The joys of smelling someone's homemade fish dinner at 7 a.m.
Oh.
I mean, I must admit, I'm not sure why anyone would be eating a fish dinner at 7 a.m. I've luckily never had that. But smelly food, definitely.
Definitely. And partly food envy. If I'm on a train journey and I can smell someone's Burger King, I'm not happy about that.
Yeah.
But no, and again, I'm running out of words here, because it's the noise of people eating as well.
Oh,
it's
God,
not
yeah.
just the smell, but the noise, and then there's often a burp. It's just not a pleasant experience.
Yeah. It's definitely not. But again, I must admit, I want to be truthful here. I myself, especially on that last train home to Chelmsford from London, have been guilty of eating McDonald's and Burger King and shoving like Big Macs and like Whoppers into my mouth. And maybe the odd burp, I'm not sure, but I imagine if anyone was on the train with me, like the last train from London to Chelmsford, I mean, I haven't taken that train in years, but it used to be at 12:43, like as in nearly 1 o'clock in the morning.
Nothing good is happening on that train.
Generally, that I would take that on a Friday. I'd been out since 5 o'clock, so that's like 7 hours of solid drinking. And yeah, so again, if anyone saw me, I apologise for the state I might have been in.
I recall possibly 15 years ago meeting you on a Friday after work in town for a few drinks on several occasions, and I apologise on your behalf as well.
Well,
no, I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? We've all done it. I've
Yeah.
eaten smelly foods. I have a 9-year-old child who often needs feeding as we're on a train journey. But yeah,
then I think if you're getting on a train on a Friday night, like, I mean, really, any time after 9 p.m. Really, in the UK, you've got to expect some drunk people on that train. And if you get in the last train, 12:43, like, what are you expecting? So
I would hope you're probably in the same state.
Exactly. If you're not, what the hell
if
are
you're
you
not,
doing?
more fool you. Yeah,
Absolutely. I've never done that on a normal time train, let's call it. So yeah, just that late. People often call it the vomit comet.
Oh yes.
Because, and again, luckily it's never happened to me. But I specifically remember a friend coming over from Italy once, and I was like, took him into London, and yeah, it was a Friday probably, and it wasn't even that late. It was probably about 10 o'clock. We got the train home, and someone was literally throwing up on the train. And I was like, welcome to England.
I would get off. I'd pay for a taxi.
Yeah. I think like lots of people outside the UK have like these ideas of like, people like English gentlemen walking around in an umbrella, holding an umbrella, and like Mary Poppins like flying to work on their umbrellas and stuff. But when you see someone chucking up at like 10 o'clock, you get a kind of different impression of what it's like. But okay, here's a big one. Okay, this can be controversial, I suppose. What are your thoughts on pets, mainly dogs, on trains?
Well, well-behaved dogs. Okay, yappy. No, thank you.
Agreed.
Yeah. And again, any dog with a stomach issue should not be on a train. I've had to witness that before.
Oh, God.
I did. I got off and got on the next carriage. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind well-behaved pets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would go along with that. Even, well-behaved dog. In fact, at a chit-chat recently in the Rock and Roll English family, I mentioned how my favourite dogs are guide dogs, because I've never met, well, I'm not sure if that's the right verb to use, but I've never seen a not well behaved guide dog. They're always, it's like that's my perfect dog. Like doesn't you don't even know they're there. Okay,
they can help you cross the road.
Yeah, they're great dogs. Okay, so we are going to cut the conversation there, and this is going to continue in the family membership area, where I will also talk about my recent trip to Valencia with a few people from the podcast, and some personal things such as my problem I have with someone at work where I work at the moment. Someone that hates me. I haven't got a problem with this person hates me. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's talk about the vocabulary from today's episode. So, we were talking about falling asleep. We said that it was late, and Champagne Shah said she may fall asleep, and she said, I will try not to dribble. So, when you dribble, it's kind of like, when you're asleep sometimes, it's like the spit that comes out from your mouth. Happens a lot with babies as well. That is dribble. And we also spoke about seat hoggers. So if you hog something, you don't share it, okay? So if you are in front of the TV with some friends, for example, and you have the TV remote, you don't give it to anyone, you are hogging the TV remote, okay? You are a TV remote hogger. So the hogger is a bit of a strange one, but the verb to hog something is actually quite common. Then we spoke about men who sit on the train with their legs wide open, and Champagne Shah said that is overcompensation through and through. So this term through and through means completely, okay? So we often hear this with like a football supporter. I am a Manchester United fan through and through. So every part of me, completely a Manchester United fan. She also mentioned how the train she gets is packed, so very busy, and said that she had to use the toilet once because it was the day after the night before. Now, if you say that, that means the night before you had a big night, okay? Lots of drinking and that kind of stuff. I mentioned how the Hellraiser kept opening the door with someone, poor girl, going to the toilet. And after like the fifth time, we had to make him stop because the joke had run its course, had come to the end. I mentioned as well how people listen to YouTube videos on their phone on full whack, meaning volume to the maximum. And talking about other people's conversations, I said the odd eavesdrop is interesting. So when you eavesdrop, that's when you listen to someone else's conversation. I suppose you shouldn't be, but if they talk loudly, what are you supposed to do? And then we mentioned if you're on the last train home and you are not drunk, you really should be. So Champagne Shah said, more fool you, meaning your actions are not wise, basically, okay? You should be drunk, so you're an idiot. More fool you. And then I said I would go along with that, so I would agree with that. So that's it for today for this vocabulary. There's a few pieces of this vocabulary on my 14-day vocabulary challenge for lazy people, designed for lazy or busy people that haven't got any time. It's great. It's free, so check it out. You can, if you click the link inside this podcast episode. So thanks a lot for listening. I will see you very soon, but in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.